think it's pretty important to get out in front of this one. First and foremost, I'd like to say that any questions concerning Tabor Pepper, I defer to Richard Hightower. All right? I'm sorry. I apologize. All right, see you guys. So how are we doing?
Hey, Mike, untrained eye, we see number 5, Trey Lance out there looking really impressive. What is he like behind the scenes? Is he doing all the stuff that you want him to do?
It's one of the best parts about Trey is that he handles himself like he's wise beyond his years. So he really approaches every day like it's a new day, and he's trying to get the most out of himself. It's been refreshing to see a young guy that you invest in really attack it that way. And so he's pretty consistent. He doesn't get too high or too low, which is what you'd want from a player at that position.
Can you sketch out what his day is? I mean, when does he come in? Who is he working with initially? And when do these guys come home?
His days are long. The exact time I couldn't tell you in the morning, but he starts his day off with Rich Scangarillo, grinding out before meetings. Then he has a position meeting, part of which they extend because they utilize the special teams time. Then he goes through the entire day like everyone else. But then, part of being a rookie, especially at that position, is that he can't, when walkthrough's done all the way at like 7 p.m., he can't just go home. He has to get in the meeting room with Rich, go over what we did in the walkthrough, and continue and get a head start on the next day's stuff. Because again, at that position, you're in charge of every other player on the field at the same time with you. So there's a lot of play calls. We have a lot of wordy things that he has to really nail down so everyone else can execute their jobs.
You can see the completions and the incompletions, but in terms of the decision making when he's running zone reads or doing checks at the line of scrimmage, even if he is allowed to do that yet, how is he from that perspective, stuff that the man might not see?
Well, it's a work in progress, which is what you would, if you're doing anything that's really that difficult, you probably shouldn't be lead at it, right from the jump. So that's one of the reasons why we have to rep all the plays so much, is because it isn't easy. So he's right where we'd want him in terms of he's in the developmental stage of all of it. Some plays are good, some plays are bad, but we try to focus on the bad so there can be more good.
How much does Trey Lance work on his throwing mechanics? He seems so refined in that area for a guy who didn't throw much in college.
Well, that was a big point of emphasis for him this offseason, those 40 days away specifically, where we had some things from a footwork standpoint that we were asking him to do that he hadn't really done. And that was the exciting part when we're talking about when he came back from his 40 days. He really put that time in because we told him, hey, listen, you're going to have to worry about all this other stuff in terms of defenses, formations, reads, all of those things, so you don't have time to really work on it. So to answer your question, he really put in a lot of work in the summer. So he came back, he knew what it should look like and it should feel like. And so now when he has a mistake in that area, we can articulate it to him and be like, hey, and he knows exactly what we're talking about and can fix it and move forward.
How is he vocally? How does the band's presence, the bass of his voice, is it for?
Yeah, no, there's an element of confidence that is unique. I wouldn't say he's loud or boisterous. He has a confident swag that I think really appeals to players. He knows the pressure that's on him like any other player. So he really is really comfortable in his own skin, I'd say. And he's getting to the point where he can correct other players, which from a coach's perspective is all you're looking for. You want a coach on the field. The person that a receiver is going to listen to much more than a coach is the guy that's throwing him the ball. So he's been very good with that, and I think a lot of the guys respond to that.
Robert Saleh used to talk about eye positioning all the time. How are Trey's eyes in terms of looking off defenders? I know Jonas Griffith got it, I think, once kind of sunk back on a ball and picked him off. How are his eyes in terms
No,
of...
that's a great question because it's the NFL game. The transition from college to the NFL, it's magnified. You don't really, it's a game of inches, so you do have to manipulate zoning defenders. And there's plays that he's good with it. There's plays that he's bad with it. He's in the developmental stage. The good news is that he is able to do it and is wanting to do it and working to get better at it every day.
What is the decision for Colton McKivitz to get reps with the first team? What are you seeing at the right guard position so far?
Well, there's one of the best things that we have going on our entire offense is the depth and versatility of our offensive linemen. So we've been very mindful to really help facilitate the competition by rotating different guys in. And Colton McKivitz is a guy that has a lot of reps at guard from last year, but missed in a training camp. So you always want to give guys opportunities, and today was his. We've been playing Tom Compton. We've been playing Dan Brunskill. We've been playing a lot of guys in there. We'll, at some point we'll put Banks in there, and they'll all compete so that they have an equal opportunity to earn that job.
How was Banks rest here through the first 2 days with pads on?
He's doing a good job really attacking the technique of that we ask our linemen to do. A lot of the stuff that we ask linemen to do is a little different than they're used to. So he's attacking it, but with that you'll jump off sides sometimes. You'll be a little sloppy in your technique because you're not used to it. It's that he can't turn his brain off right now before he goes and plays. So that's something that we're not really concerned about at all. It's a natural progression that all players really go through.
Trey is only getting, with the exception of that one rep yesterday, only working with the second team, but it seems like he's throwing to a lot of starters, whether it be George or Brandon. How important is that or is that an emphasis of you guys, and how important is it for him to build chemistry with those guys?
No, so I think that alludes to a question that you had before, but that's a very perceptive question. What we try to do as coaches, and what Coach Shanahan does with the entire offensive staff, and what he asked me to do as well, is put a lot of pressure on position coaches to read through the script, see the different opportunities. We have the plays and we know the defenses. The players don't. So we try to put, hey, George Kittle needs a wide and go rep versus man coverage. Well, hey, instead of dictating the entire practice and all the people's reps for George, we ask coaches to say, hey, George, you're going to go in with the 2s or the 3s. It doesn't really matter to get that opportunity. It's just one of the ways we try to work on individual skill sets.
Ray Sermon seems to be getting a lot of reps with the starters. What have you seen from him, and how do you assess a running back without tackling?
Well, that's a great question too, because there's not an easy answer. But I've been pumped with Trey because he's come a long way in a short period of time with us in terms of our techniques. We run around the corner a ton, and realistically, a majority of all the stuff that he did in college was from the gun. So you're under center, and when you're under center, you have to listen to a snap count. When you're in gun, you can kind of get away from looking at the ball snapped and not really going off the snap count. So those types of things, he's been growing and growing. And then your second part of the question?
Just how do you assess running backs in general?
Okay, that was the part of the question that I was fired up about. It is hard. There's no shortcut. You really have to magnify all the reps when you're not going to the ground on, hey, where's his balance? Are his shoulders over his is the center of gravity right at the point of contact? And you can take that to a certain degree, but that's what's crazy about last year having no preseason, because for running backs we really rely on those games to see how they, not necessarily their yards per carry or if their stats were good, but how are they on contact with defenders dragging on them? Are they going to get extra yards? Are they a guy that, hey, if it's blocked for 3, he'll get 5? So you can take it to, you can only take it so far. We do the best that we can, but then there's a lot of it that you have to wait until people can actually tackle you.
How does Mitchell look, Elijah Mitchell look with that, Mike? What are you seeing out of him besides that he's fast?
That's one of my favorite parts of his game. So whether that was coincidental or not. When you watch him and you watch him at practice, you can see at the point of contact that he is striking defenders. We call it shoulder punch. You've seen Jeff Wilson do it a bunch. So in practice, we see great vision, and we see a guy that is not afraid of contact and should be pretty good after it. But again, we'll let him show us all that when the preseason game starts.
Coach, with the preseason game a week and a half away, what's the biggest improvement you want to see from the offense before that first game?
From the offense in its entirety is you'd like to have a little more flawless fundamental football, something we're always striving for. Part of our job as coaches is to find different ways that we can maximize the potential of players. There's a lot of guys that are getting better at individual things, but you want to see people work together as a group. You want to see people improve on the cadence and snap count. That's something you hear us talk about a lot because our defense is so good at defending against offenses when they're probably the best D-line that we see all year is jumping the cadence and stuff. So those types of things, you just really want guys to continue to progress and do it as a unit.
Couple more guys. May I ask you about the shirt? What was John's reaction when he saw everybody with the
Oh, this
shirt?
was a practice surprise. So I actually, there was a couple guys that were really excited to put it on in the office before we went out. And I had to go, I kind of was scurrying around offices, like hiding it so he didn't see it. But yeah, the first thing when I saw him was I asked him, "Where's your shirt?" And he said, because we thought it'd be kind of funny for him to wear his own name on his back. But I think, John's an unbelievable human being, and there's not too many Hall of Famers that you even have the chance to know. And I think all the players and coaches alike really feel that way. And I think he felt just tremendous gratitude and a little bashful. He's not a look at me guy, and there's a lot of people wearing his name today.
Final day of install.
Last night was. Today was the final application of our install. So it was the 7th day, and now after their player day off, then we'll kind of tighten up and look at our players and continue to work on stuff that we're bad at.
And a half out from the first preseason game. At what point do you guys start to sit down and say, or divvy up reps and how you want to evaluate that?
We try not to get ahead of ourselves. Look, we're telling players that they have to go and attack every day. So it wouldn't be responsible for us if we're making decisions in prematurely in advance of that. So really, that stuff comes a couple days before the preseason game, not until then, because we don't want to shortchange all the competition from here till then.
Thanks, Mike.
Here we go. Wow. Feel bad for DeMeco having to follow that.
Do you have any expectation on when the guys on the COVID list are expected back? Has there been any clarity on that in the last few days?
Not sure the exact time they'll be back. But whenever they're back, we'll be happy to have them back.
How are the rookie cornerbacks coming along now that you've gone through a few other guys, but the two ones that they have to learn a lot, obviously, so it's good that they're getting as many reps as they can.
It's good for our rookie corners, Ambry and Demo. They've been getting a lot of reps. And for those guys, it's just a matter of just keep emphasizing and honing in on working their technique and fundamentals every day. So for me, the better they get each day, just doing a little bit better on their technique and fundamentals and just keep making strides in that way. I'll be pleased with what they're doing. But I know it's a lot on their plate right now, having to learn a lot. So it's just going to take time for those guys, but they're doing a good job.
To be
Two things on strong safety. What are your impressions of Tavon Wilson, first of all? And also, do you envision that being a competition for the starting job when Jaquaski comes back?
Yeah, I think having Tavon's done a really good job. I mean, you can tell he's a true pro. He's a leader. I love his approach to every day. He attacks every day the right way, does a really awesome job of communicating out there with the guys, making sure guys are all on the same page. And he's been great in there. So I'm happy that we were able to get Tavon, a really great addition to our team, and like the way he's working.
And do you envision that being a competition when Jaquaski gets back?
We'll see what happens whenever Tart comes back. We'll see what happens there.
What happened with Javon Kinlaw today? He seemed off to the side, pretty upset with his head down. Didn't participate in team drills.
Not sure. But JK is fine. He'll be all right.
Was today a maintenance day for Nick Bosa?
Yeah, Bosa is still just day to day, taking the maintenance day and coming back, progressing. When it's time for him to be back in, he'll be back out there.
How much does he need in terms of preseason? Because he missed most of last year with the injury. Do you feel like he needs in the preseason to get ready for the regular season?
The main thing for Bosa is just him taking the time to make sure he has the confidence in his knee to go out there and perform at a high level. Once he gets, the reps he needs, gets the confidence in his knee, then he'll be fine.
What's Ebukam's issue where he needs rest?
Not Ebukam, you said? Ebukam, he's dealing with some things. You have to ask Coach about the injuries and things like that.
I know you're focused on your defense, but if you've had a chance to take a peek at the rookie quarterback, what has impressed you so far about Lance?
Yeah, I mean, first thing jumps off the tape is the guy's ability to throw the ball. I mean, it's really awesome. He can hit every route. He can throw the ball, put it where it needs to be, deep ball, quick game, wherever you want the ball, he can do it. So it's been fun to watch him work. You can see him progressively get better every day. So I'm excited for what he can do, and you can see why he's a top pick in the draft. Very great, talented guy.
Is it fun for that second team defense so far?
Is it fun? Hell yeah, they're getting a lot of good work, a lot of good looks, and he's stressing them out a lot. But it's he definitely causes off defenses a lot of problems. So.
Right?
It's definitely good thing to have him on our side.
There have been a few occasions where I think today Kittle got the better of Jonas Griffith, where linebackers end up on sort of deeper patterns against receivers. Is that intentional by you to get them those reps, or is part of that Kyle, trying to exploit mismatches?
No, it's a matter of however those reps go. It could be linebacker, could have been a safety. It just all depends on formationally. A lot of different things changes for certain guys to get certain reps. So. Yeah, Kittle got one on Jonas today, but it was it was a good rep. If the play takes that long, then we need a D-line to get there much faster.
Robert Saleh used to say that Kyle can kind of be a little cruel when going against the defense. He doesn't treat it, like a practice. He really schemes it up. What's been your impression of that?
Yeah, same. We get a lot of good work on both sides, whether it's offense, scheming, our defense, we put particular plays in to see how guys are going to react. And the main thing is about getting guys as many different looks as we can, attacking certain players, attacking scheme, and as much as we can get that and mixing it up, I think that's great work on both sides.
For you personally, what's it like out there? Does it just feel any different? DC, you running the show. What is it like for you out there?
Man, for me out there now being in DC, it's fun. It's fun. I love the energy of practice. I really love the way the guys are working. It hasn't changed much as me. For me, is my approach to practice is just making sure the guys are into it, making sure the guys are swarming to the ball, making sure the guys are playing the proper techniques and having fun out there and playing together. So for me, it's just a matter of keeping the energy going at practice and keeping the guys into it.
Schematically, how much tinkering are you doing in terms of blitzes and, are you seeing like, hey, this worked against this didn't work against this? Are you pretty set in what your defense is going to look like schematically, or are you using these practices to sort of figure that out?
Yeah, we're using our practices to figure out schematics-wise, where we'll be with the pressures and blitzes and try a lot of different things, see how it works. But when it comes to the season, we'll kind of, hone it down into a small menu, and we'll go from there.
Ford had a pretty significant practice yesterday. It looked like he was pushing himself to see what he could do on different plays. What was your assessment when you went back and you watched his Tuesday performance?
Yeah, I thought he performed really well for the few reps that he's gotten. And D is still on an approach where we're taking it day by day. He's getting a little bit, every day, but D is in a good spot and he's getting better and better each day.
Who have you been pleasantly surprised with the weekend of camp so far on the defensive side?
Say that again?
Who have you been pleasantly surprised with on the defensive side?
Surprised? I don't know. The guy that sticks out to me on our defense right now is Tavon. It's Tavon Wilson. I talked about him earlier, but Tavon has really been, surprising from the standpoint of just his leadership, his communication, his focus, and his consistent approach daily.
It seems like even with the offense, he's talking to them and he's teaching receivers. So how important is that? How do you see that helping?
Yeah, it's important for us throughout training camp, offensively, defensively. At times you put the pads on and you get tired of banging and going against each other. But our guys are really tight. That's the thing about our team. We have a really tight team that works together offensively, defensively, not only on the field, but off the field, helping each other when it comes to schematics, comes to how to cover routes, how to run certain routes better. Guys are always helping each other. Good? Good. All right.
I just agreed with you.
How's everybody doing?
Did you think you could play quarterback if you had to?
No. Too much competition.
That was a long day yesterday. First day in pads, I think it was about 2 hours. How does that feel for a nose tackle?
I've been playing this game for 20-some years. It wasn't that bad, but, it's something we all need. So, you got to do it eventually. So, it ain't that bad. It looks bad, but it ain't that bad.
When you're on the sideline, are your eyes glued to Trey Lance like ours are, or are you locked in on your...
I think everybody's is. I think everybody's eyes locked on him. He's special.
The offensive coaches have been emphasizing cadence against you guys because you're so aggressive. Is that something you foresee other offenses doing, throughout the season to sort of keep you guys honest on the snap and stuff like that?
Of course. I ain't going to go to an yes.
Does that make this, good, useful practices to sort of...
Yeah, it helps us, helps them, but I'm not going to sit here and help another team. But, yes.
In terms of preseason, how many snaps, how many reps do you feel like you need to get yourself ready for the regular season?
As many as DeMeco and Chris think I need, and Kyle. I don't make my count. I don't think anybody else does. So as long as they want me on the field, I'll be on the field.
Have you seen and obviously Javon came in as a rookie, and it was a very odd season for everyone, but particularly a rookie. Do you see, I don't know, whether just his approach, supposedly he's bigger, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Just anything different about him that strikes you in year two as opposed to last year?
I feel like he came in as a rookie. He was already a pro. That's hard to say, but it's true. Him and Bosa are two that I can say came in as pros. And, like you said, he's gotten bigger. He's gotten more in tune with the game. He's got more knowledgeable. So I think he's taking steps in the right direction. So I'm proud of him. So.
You guys have a few new guys in that defensive line room, and over the years you've had a defensive line text thread. What's that chemistry like developing between all of you?
Same. Everybody works hard, but everybody can make everybody laugh at the same time. Arden Key is a comedian. great dude, man. But we all good dudes. That's the thing. So, I mean, we all click because we all good guys.
What has Daryl Tapp added to that corner? I mean, it's already energetic with Kocurek. What's Tapp do to it?
Just more energy. More energy. If Chris is lacking, which he's never is, Tapp brings it because Tapp's been under him. So he just brings what Chris don't have. So that youth. Chris old school.
Tapp still play?
I think Tapp could Tapp could play a game. I think he told me he's 36, so I think is it? How old are you?
No, you said old.
It's old, 30, right? Yeah. Yep. Appreciate it.
Howdy. How we doing today, guys? There's less of you today than there were last week. That's sad, kind of sad. It's tough. My dedicated people are here, though.
Was that pass interference on that play down the right sideline?
Yes. Yeah, I got punched in the face. I didn't have to sell it. That's all right, though. The vet ref in the back was like, "Yeah, I didn't have a flag. I would have thrown it for you, but." No, it doesn't get called, and it is what it is, but I will emphatically say yes, it was PI.
It was tight coverage at least, George. And
Trey's just got to throw it out there, man.
Well, I was going to say, how glad are you that Trey can just at least gives you a chance to make a play on a tight ball like that?
Oh, yeah, he's got a great touch with those downfield passes. Like I said, I wish he, just got to throw it out there. I do play tight end, but I feel like I'm decently fast.
George, Mike McDaniel just talked about Trey's confidence swag, and you had mentioned in OTAs that he didn't look like a rookie. Is that something you see from him?
Yeah, no. Trey, he's got confidence because he's a hell of a football player. I think he studies his ass off. Excuse my language. Jimmy set the tone already. He studies really hard, and then he comes in. He gets extra work in. Whether it's studying the playbook or whether the rookies have extra film and stuff. So he's in there with Kyle all the time. Learning, and he's just gaining confidence in his abilities. He's obviously still a rookie. There's timing things that he needs to figure out and stuff, but he's definitely making progress. And so, that's all you want to see from everybody on the field, and especially a number 3 draft pick. You'd like him to improve every single day.
What did you see from Jordan Matthews today? It looked like he was getting incredibly hyped after that touchdown. I think he had a block on the Gallman run, too.
Yeah, no. Jordan's been a great energy coming into the tight end room. It was fun. I got to work out with him in Tennessee a lot this offseason. Just seeing him put on like 25 pounds was pretty incredible. And he still is moving the same way at 235 pounds. So, yeah, I like the energy that Jordan brings, especially when it's fun. Like when it clicks for you, because it is, it's time position. It's way different than wide receiver. There's some similarities, but the physicality is way different. And when you do make a block for a running back, I always say making the big block on a touchdown run, it's a great feeling. he experienced it for the first time, and like you get to see that energy, and he gets that love off of that, and I'm happy for him because it is a very unique feeling when you get a great block on a touchdown run.
Did he initiate the off-season workouts with you? Did he hit you up and say, "Hey, let's do this"?
We use the same trainers, yeah. So we use the same speed coach, my guy Jeremy, and just through there. And like I said, we played together the last 2 years. So anytime we run routes, Jordan's there. He came out, worked out at the barn for the last 2 or 3 weeks of the off season too, which was nice to see him out there.
Team-wise, if he's lining up, previous years out of the slot as a receiver, and this year he's lining up as the as tight end, how much difference is there on path routes and things like that?
I mean, you can do essentially the exact same stuff. I just think if you know how to do both, then we're allowed to do more with Jordan there, and that's the interesting thing about him. So I think we're going to use Jordan as much as we can, especially in training camp, just to see all the things that he can do. I'm looking forward to it because he has, he was hitting a sled at my place 3 weeks ago, and I was like, hey, you got some strides you need to make to be able to make a team, and you got an opportunity here, and just seeing him hit the sled out here to the reps he's taking in practice right now, he's taking huge strides. You can tell how much he studies, how much it matters to him, and it's one of those things he has his foot in the door, and he's not going to let it slam shut on him, so he's just going to continue to grind and continue to get better.
Trey's ability to be vocal, instruct guys at this stage, is that uncanny for someone so young?
Did you see him instructing guys? Oh, really? Oh, I'm in the huddle. I'm just focusing on what I'm doing. Quarterbacks, they need to know what everyone's doing, obviously. And so, if Trey's in there with more rookies, it is on him, this quarterback, to control the huddle. Is it uncanny? No, like I said, Trey's a confident guy. He knows what his abilities are. He knows that he's a good football player. And he's, if he expects someone to make a play or if he expects someone to do something, he'll let them know. And, that's what you want out of your quarterback.
So that means he didn't instruct you.
No, we help each other out every once in a while.
What's been your impression of Trent Sherfield? He made some plays yesterday. He's been consistent for you guys, it seems like.
Yeah, it was actually really funny. Literally the day before we signed Trent, I think he was still in the Cardinals or just been released, and he was training down in Nashville. I was said hi to him, what's up, and literally the next day he got signed by us, but he wasn't there anymore. So I was like, oh, that's very interesting. Wish he could have stayed around. I'd just like to see guys make plays, really. That's all it is. And he's out there. He's taking advantage of the reps that he gets. Debo sat out yesterday, so he got extra reps. And, I don't know, he had 10 catches yesterday. And he came out today, and I think he had another strong day today. The thing about training camp is you just got to stack day after day after day. One day you might play absolute BS, and then the next day you show up and you play fantastic. Just if you can just be a little bit more consistent day in and day out.
Hey, George, with the first preseason game, a week and a half away, how much work and reps do you like to get yourself ready for the season?
Fun fact, I haven't played in a lot of preseason games in my career so far. So, whatever Kyle asked me to do, I'll do. I'm just excited I get to play football again. I was very excited that we got to put shoulder pads on because it's actual football. Not the biggest fan of OTAs and stuff because there's no pads and you can't really be that physical. I'm looking forward to competing again. Get a preseason game finally and play a little ball. And it's not the same because, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter, in the record and stuff like that. But being able to line up against someone other than the 49ers defense will be very fun.
What's been your, I don't know if we've asked anyone about this, but what's been your impression of having a 17-game schedule?
I get to play more football, I guess. I think we've had multiple vets comment on that, around the league, and I'll leave it at whatever they said.
Was your first rep up one-on-one versus Tavon Wilson today?
Sure. Yeah.
We were on the other side, but I just want to ask you about him. He kind of.
I love him. He's been great. He's awesome. I wasn't sure what to expect. He was really good in OTAs. But like I said, once you put the pads on, it becomes more of a game. You get to actually see physicality and stuff. He definitely is a vet guy. He holds a little bit extra. He gets away. He knows how to get away with stuff. And, that's fantastic for me to get. I'm getting reps against a vet that knows how to play the game. And he's a hell of a player, too. But he's super smart. He's always in the right place at the right time. You can watch him on film. He made a couple fantastic plays yesterday, just filling, whether it's a B-gap, A-gap on a run and stuff. He knows where he's supposed to be at all times. He quick triggers. I love competing against him too because he definitely brings the best out of me because he wants to compete at a high level, and when you can compete at a high level against your own teammates, it only makes you better.
Kyle said early on, I think after Trey was drafted, stop asking me about the competition. He just said everyone's going to know when he's ready to compete. Like it's not. Coaches will see, players will see, and there's not going to be some. There's not going to be a big announcement. Do you feel like you're starting to see that?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, he's out there competing. Like, we're all out there competing. Do I think that he would go out there and play at a high level? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to believe in all my teammates. I think no matter what quarterback we put in, they're going to play at a high level, and that's just my opinion. You know, I'll hype up all my guys. Like I said, when I was a rookie, I was pretty bad. I made a lot of mistakes. The game moves way faster than you think it does. And practice is one thing. When you get out in an actual field to compete against other people, it's a total different speed. So I know he's going to need reps before anything happens. Or I mean, he could prove me completely wrong. Just whenever he gets a chance, he go out there and be the best football player on the field, which is what I hope happens. I mean, I hope he plays at an incredibly high level. But I mean, I don't know. It's on Coach Shanahan and John Lynch, so it's up to them.
The first few practices, you didn't see a whole lot of passes coming your way in 11-on-11. Or maybe you feel like you did? Oh, so anyway, you didn't catch a whole lot of passes during those times. Is that something are you calling for the ball? Do you ask, the coaches to get more stuff for you, or did it just kind of like,
no,
it is what it is?
No, I mean, it is what it is. It's the first couple of days of camp. Like I said, it's very hard for me to be myself when I'm not in shoulder pads. So, I'm a violent, physical person. If I don't have shoulder pads on, I don't feel like I can protect myself, whether it's my shoulders or my teammates. And so I try to be physical when I get my shoulder pads on. And I mean, I don't know how much the first 4 days. Like I said, you want to stack days, and one day you'll be bad, one day you'll be good, but you just want to try to be consistent and find your stride. And that's all I'm going to try to do now. I got to be in shoulder pads for the rest of the season, which is what I'm excited about. And football's actually here.
Last one. Go ahead.
Obviously,
I'll do two more. I got you.
Nashville was your baby, and not a lot of tight ends coming to learn from you. But is there anything that you brought back that's going to influence the way you play your game from tight end?
Yeah, I mean, specifics listening to Darren Waller talk about choice routes was really interesting. Just his take on it and how simple he made it for himself. Just being able to attack his leverage and then just make a decision as quickly as possible and then just live with the results. I think Darren was fantastic. He showed us a bunch of clips on that. The way Travis Kelce, I mean, he doesn't use all of his speed 24/7, his tempo in and out of cuts, just that type of stuff. Luckily, we have a bunch of notes on that stuff that I have been looking at, and but you could pull a lot from everybody. And I think my favorite conversation was from Mercedes Lewis when he just talked about how to be in the NFL for 17 years. I think that's incredible, and the fact that you are in the league for 17 years is wild. But just his mindset every single day and how he keeps his his head on his shoulders. He's not worried about what other people say, because people have said a lot of things about him and over the course of 17 years, and he's still playing at an incredibly high level. He's impacting the Green Bay Packers at an incredibly high level. So just picking up little things from each and every person that was there. It was pretty fun.
On behalf of a colleague, I know you're a bit of a tight end historian. 10 years ago, Rob Gronkowski and Jimmy Graham had kind of a similar duel to what you and Kelce had a couple years ago in terms of tight end receiving record. Do you remember that at all? Any impressions as a young player watching those two guys kind of maybe change the way tight ends were perceived around the league?
Oh, I mean, Gronk and Jimmy did so much for the tight end position. I mean, Gronk I think he kind of kicked the door down of being able to have a personality. I mean, really, he just kind of set the stage for as long as you play at a high level, be whoever you want to be, but just be you. Don't have to fake it. You don't have to be extra. You don't have to be a quiet dude. If you want to be loud, obnoxious, and have a fun time, just do it and then play at a high level. And Jimmy Graham did the same thing. I think he was a little bit quieter, but the plays that he made, each and every Sunday was incredible. I mean, he definitely he wanted to go out there and get paid like a wide receiver, which I think he still should have because of the things that he did. But they definitely set the stage for all the tight ends that are still up and coming. We have a lot of guys that are making more plays in the open field, catching more passes and stuff like that. I mean, Ertz set a receiving record just a couple years ago. Kelce just set the yards record. Kelce was second in receiving yards last year. I mean, I think he deserves to get paid like a wide receiver, and that's just my opinion. But tight ends are just continuing to kick the door down, baby.
Thank you, George.
Oh, thank you guys.